The views expressed are solely those of the speaker and not necessarily those of Paltalk.com, AVM Software, or its advertisers.
News Talk is online. News Talk Online is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. On demand on iTunes and on YouTube, and on my blog, GaryBaumgarten.com, where you're encouraged to post your comments, whether you agree with yours truly or not, no retribution, and where you should be also subscribing to my Twitter feed, twitter.com/GaryBaumgarten. You'll see some things on there that you may not see in the mainstream media. And thanks to our great friends at CRN Digital Talk Radio, we're syndicated to an additional 12 million households. I am your host, Gary Baumgarten. I welcome you to the show. Well, today's a very solemn day. Every year, unfortunately, at this time, we remember those who died on September the 11th, 2001. As many of you know, we carried live and uninterrupted the full memorial service across from Ground Zero today, as we have every year over the past 8 years here on Paltalk.com. And we read off the names, or the names are read off of everybody who died on that day as well. They should be read. However, what many people don't realize is that the death toll from the 9/11 tragedy continues to climb, because so many brave men and women rushed to what was called by them, dubbed the pile, after the collapse of the Twin Towers, for first a rescue and then a recovery operation. And they were inhaling toxic fumes, and many of them are terminally ill. Our guest is one of the heroes of 9/11. His name is Charles Giles, Giles. He was an EMT and a supervisor working for Citywide Mobile Response on September the 11th, a private ambulance company that the city contracts to help fill in when EMS is not available. He actually flew over the World Trade Center just moments before the tragic events, returning from vacation, and once on the ground was quickly summoned to work. He set up the command post for his company to oversee the private ambulance services work. He got caught in the collapse of one of the towers, was rushed with severe burns and a laceration to his cornea to Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx. They wanted to admit him, but like so many of our brave first responders, Charlie Giles knew that his job was not lying in a hospital bed. His job was back at Ground Zero. So he had his company send him out a new uniform, and he returned. At one point, he was in the one of the towers, and he heard a loud rumble while he was giving CPR to a firefighter, and a Port Authority cop said, "Get out of here, get out of here," and that's the only reason he is alive today. Charlie Giles, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Thank you, Gary, for that eloquent welcome, and thank you to your listeners for listening in today. You said it very eloquently. Today is a very solemn day. It's a very emotional day for 9/11 first responders. 8 years ago today, our country suffered one of the worst attacks. The only attack that I can compare to is the attacks on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. It was both events were days that will live in the memories of those that lived it. For me, 9/11 started when I was dispatched to coordinate, as you correctly said, to coordinate the efforts on behalf of the private ambulance industry in New York, as we were contracted as a backup for the fire department EMS. And I was able to take care of 14 patients Once I arrived there, I wasn't there but 30 seconds, and they brought me a gentleman on a cart, on one of those flat carts, and this gentleman was an elevator mechanic in the South Tower, and his legs were sheared off. I started applying tourniquets to him, and we rushed him to St. Vincent's Medical Center, where he was treated, and then I went back to Ground Zero, picked up another patient very quickly. Didn't have a chance yet to set up my command post, and when I had gotten back to St. Vincent's, was informed that my first patient had died. And I will never forget the words that patient told me. He asked me, he says, "Am I going to die?" And I says, "I'm going to do everything in my power to prevent that. I cannot make you any promises, because we do not give false hope as emergency medical technicians in EMS. We do not give false hope." And I went back to Ground Zero. I was able to set up my command center and took care of 13 other patients. During that time, the South Tower began to collapse, and I outran the collapse of the South Tower, only to return to the carnage, the new carnage, the newly injured. We began taking care of those patients, and we had received a call that there was a firefighter down. We did not know if this firefighter was just collapsed, if he had twisted an ankle. We didn't know what was wrong with him. And there were no other medical technicians available, so I grabbed my medical equipment and went into the North Tower. South Tower had already collapsed. I went into the North Tower, and on the mezzanine level, there's an escalator that goes up before you take the elevators to the top of the Trade Center. On the mezzanine level, I encountered people surrounding this firefighter and trying to revive him. And I began my efforts, and I would say about 5 minutes into my efforts, began a very loud rumbling, metal clanging against metal on metal banging, dust, concrete coming down around us, and people were yelling, "The building's coming down, the building's coming down, run for your lives." And this gentleman had this hero, this firefighter hero, one of the 343 firefighters that we lost, the brave men of the New York City Fire Department that we lost. He had already been deceased, so I ran for my life, and I was injured and could not make it out of the North Tower. When I heard a voice, and the voice was saying, "Hey, Citywide, get out, it's coming down." And I said, "I'm injured." And a Port Authority police officer rescued me as the building was coming down, and we were about 150 feet from the main door, and he just threw himself on top of me, and the building collapsed on top of him.